Hey everyone! If you've got a solar setup, you know this feeling, right? Your batteries are topped off, the sun is just beaming down, and all that incredible power, it's just got nowhere to go. Today, we're going to talk about how to take that extra wasted energy and turn it into something awesome, like free hot water. But, and this is the important part, how to do it safely. Let's jump in. So let's really paint the picture. It's high noon, your panels are cranking out power, your battery bank hits 100%. Now what? All that beautiful, free energy, where does it go? This isn't just about wasting power. It can actually put a lot of unnecessary stress on your whole system.
And this gets us to what we call solar's surplus problem. See, it's not just about losing out on a few free watts of energy. It's really about the long-term health of your batteries. Constantly hitting that maximum charge with no outlet for the power can actually reduce their lifespan over time.
Now, your charge controller is a pretty smart piece of kit. Its number one job is to protect your batteries from overcharging. So the moment they're full, it basically throws up a big stop sign and tells the panels, nope, we're done here. It's doing its job, but man, it feels like such a waste of good sunshine.
But what if there was a way to put every single one of those watts to good use? Well, there is. And that's where something called a dump load comes into play. It's a really simple but kind of brilliant solution to redirect all that surplus energy.
So what in the world is a dump load? Think of it as a sponge for electricity. It's a device that's designed to safely soak up all that extra power. Usually it's what we call a resistive load, which sounds technical, but it's really not. Just think about the heating coil in your toaster or an electric kettle. For our purposes, the most common dump load is a simple water heating element. So we're turning that extra electricity directly into hot water.
Okay, so if you've ever looked this up online, you've probably seen a diagram that looks just like this. And it looks almost too simple, doesn't it? You got your panels, your charge controller, your batteries, and then you just hook up the dump load. And you know what? While this is the basic concept, it leaves out some of the most critical, safety-related details.
And this is where you really need to lean in and listen closely. We're about to talk about the hidden dangers, the stuff that so many other tutorials just gloss over or forget to mention entirely. Because getting this wrong isn't just a little mistake, it can be seriously dangerous.
Right. So that super simple setup we just looked at, it's hiding some pretty serious risks. If you just follow that diagram blindly, you could end up with major system damage, fried equipment, or even, and I'm not kidding, real safety hazards in your home.
Let's break it down. First up, fusing. A lot of the quick and dirty advice you'll find says to just wire the dump load straight to the battery. Bad idea. The safe reality is that putting a correctly sized fuse in that circuit is absolutely 100% non-negotiable. This little device is what protects you from a runaway current that could otherwise start a fire.
Next, let's talk about wiring. Oh, it's so tempting to just grab some spare wire you have in the garage, right? But here's the thing. A resistive load, like a heating element, draws a continuous and high current. That puts a ton of stress on the wire, causing it to heat up. You have to use the proper wire gauge, one that's thick enough to handle that constant load without the insulation melting off and, you guessed it, creating another huge fire risk.
And finally, monitoring. A set-it-and-forget-it mindset here is just a recipe for trouble. If you are heating water, you absolutely have to keep an eye on the temperature. Water heated above 60 degrees Celsius, that's about 140 Fahrenheit, can cause serious scalding burns in seconds. So this isn't just about electrical safety anymore, this is about your physical safety.
So, just to be crystal clear, the stakes are pretty high if this is done wrong. We are talking about very real fire hazards from wiring, scalding injuries from water that's way too hot, permanent damage to your very expensive battery bank, and total failure of your equipment. This is exactly why getting these details right is so crucial.
Okay, enough with the doom and gloom. Let's switch gears and talk about the solution. How do we do this the right way? Well, it all comes down to sizing your system safely. And believe it or not, a couple of simple math formulas are going to be the tools that protect you. So here's our first key formula. This one helps us pick the perfect heating element for our setup. It simply says that resistance, or R, equals your system's voltage squared. So voltage times itself, divided by the power of your heating element in watts. This little calculation makes sure your heater is perfectly matched to your system.
All right, once we know the resistance, the next step is to figure out the current, which we call I for intensity. This one's even easier. It's just your voltage divided by that resistance we just figured out. And this number, this is probably the most important one for safety, because it tells us exactly how much juice is going to be flowing through those wires in that fuse.
Let's run through a quick example to make this real.
Imagine you have a standard 12-volt system and you've got a 150-watt heating element. Okay, first up, resistance. 12 volts times 12 volts is 144. Divide that by 150 watts and we get 0.96 ohms. Easy enough. Now for the current. We take our 12 volts and divide by 0.96 ohms, and that gives us 12.5 amps.
And that's it. That is our magic number, 12.5 amps. This single number is the key to building a safe system. Every single component we choose from this point forward, our wire, our fuse, it all depends on this one calculation.
So what does this mean in practice? It's simple. Your wire and your fuse must be rated to handle more than 12.5 amps of continuous current. You don't want to rate it for exactly 12.5, you want a safety buffer. So you'd probably go with a 15-amp fuse and wire that's properly rated for that kind of load. See? The math directly tells us how to build a safe system.
Okay, let's bring this all home and put it together into one simple, actionable checklist. This is going to be your ultimate guide to doing this installation safely.
Here we go. Step 1. Do the math. Don't guess. Calculate the right resistance and current. Step 2. Choose the right heating element based on those numbers. 3. Install a fuse that's correctly sized for the job. 4. Use the right thickness of wire. Don't skimp on this. 5. Double-check your charge controller settings to make sure it only diverts power when the battery is actually full. And finally, step 6. The first time you run it, watch it like a hawk. Monitor that water temperature and the current draw to make sure everything is behaving exactly as you calculated.
And we absolutely have to end with this. This isn't the kind of project you can just figure out as you go. Electrical work is by its very nature dangerous. If at any point you feel unsure or out of your depth, please, for your own safety, stop what you're doing and call a qualified professional. It's just not worth the risk.
Which really leaves us with one final thought to chew on. We all want our solar systems to be as efficient as possible, to squeeze every last drop of energy from the sun. But what we've really learned today is that true efficiency isn't just about watts and amps. It's about being a smart, responsible system owner. Because at the end of the day, is your system really efficient if it isn't safe?